Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rotoworld Football Show. It is Tuesday, December 17th. Christmas beckons on the fantasy playoffs. Hopefully continue to beckon. For a lot of you, sure, you've been eliminated and shouldn't even be listening to the show anymore.
We're glad you are.
We're very glad you are. Hopefully we have an entertaining show for you today. Maybe you're playing some DFS. Maybe we're going to get ready for some playoff pools. So you're going to need stuff like the fallout in the Lions backfield after David Montgomery suffers a season-ending injury. Spoiler alert, Denny. The Jahmyr Gibbs machine go burr.
Yeah, it's going to burr so hard.
It's going to burr so hard, but we'll talk about Craig Reynolds and Sione Vaki. Patrick Mahomes, high ankle sprain, but clearly just not going to miss any time and will be just as effective, right, Denny?
I mean, Ian Rappaport said today he's, quote, built different.
He is. He's got the LeBron gene, cannot get hurt, but he might be hurt and miss Saturday's game against the Texans. We'll talk a little more about that game. Are we still trusting Joe Mixon for one, Denny? Fallout from Monday Night Football. Caleb struggling. Kirk Cousins just like wanting to retire.
Yeah.
What else? Desmond Ridder. Oh my God. I had to squint to read that one. Like what? Desmond Ridder. No more juice left to squeeze out of the Raiders backfield. And looking ahead to Thursday Night Football, Broncos at Chargers. Some other news items. Jerome Ford replacing Nick Chubb in Cleveland. Russell Wilson and his really good matchup on Saturday against the Ravens, but if we can possibly stream him if George Pickens is not back. Geno injured, so on and so forth. Guess who else is injured, folks? Denny Carter. Why don't you tell us about how you've never been more old than apparently what you did in the past few days, Denny? What happened?
So I tried to pretend that my hamstring wasn't bothering me recently. It was just like a vague sort of pain in my right hamstring. I don't stretch. No one's got time for that. I run, I use the indoor bike and everything. But I never stretch. Maybe I should have stretched because on Monday I went for a run and about midway through I felt a little pull. Oof. And it didn't necessarily hurt. It felt weird, but then it started hurting. And here's the thing though, I kept running. Yeah. And I refused to stop running the entire way back home. And I think I may have caused further injury to myself. And now I can't even bend over to pick anything up, to pick up my kids' toys and socks off the floor without audibly gasping in pain.
First off, it's never been more over. Second off, I know a good physical therapist. I have no idea if he's licensed in Maryland. In high school, 2-week injury. In the NFL, 2-month injury. Non-athlete in your 40s, 2-year injury, Denny. It's over.
I'm afraid it is over.
You gotta get the physical therapy. You gotta hammer the physical therapy, otherwise it is over.
I will I'm gonna be upfront with you. There's no chance I'm going to pursue physical therapy here. None.
Listen, I thought the same thing when at age 22 I suffered a grievous high ankle sprain. Like we
highest ankle sprain ever.
It really. No one pretended this one was low. No one thought I might play on Saturday. Everyone's like, oh yeah.
No, when the doctor said it's a high ankle sprain, you said, but the low kind?
Yes, I've told this story before, but it's been a while. Where I went to the ER. So first I tried to sleep it off a little, walk it off, all right. And then instead. I was in such pain that I could not sleep. Like midnight, I had to have my roommate, and this was in college, take me to the ER.
Really?
Yes. And the very first thing they said was, it would have been better if you had just broken it. And it wasn't great.
So we're going to go ahead and do that now.
And so then, that was 2 months, or not 2 months, like 4 or 5 weeks on crutches. Then I was supposed to do a vigorous program of physical therapy. Didn't do that.
You forgot.
Because I was 22, and, it starts to feel better. Oh. But then, the strength and balance, it led later to knee pain. You've got to do the physical therapy.
You're 22. Look, the Miller Lights are calling.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter until I was 27 or 28. Then it boomeranged around and started to hurt my knee.
I have had a hamstring injury before, and I was wondering. I was like, I'm 41. I haven't had a hamstring injury since like 37. When is this going to flare up again? And I coincidentally. At a Christmas party the other day, people were drilling me on NFL news because they know what I do for a living. And they're like who's that cornerback coming back for Washington this week against the Saints? I said, Marshawn Lattimore. They said, what injury does he have? I said, hamstring injury. Just tore the thing right off the bone. Major hamstring injury. And we were laughing about it. And this is what I get.
That is what you get.
I mean, it's not funny. It was just, this is a horrible injury. Like, I can't even imagine. That's why we were laughing.
But man, it's going to be a long road back for you. I had a final anecdote to share and then I forgot it.
But I can sit and talk without pain. So that's important.
Wincing as you're sitting and talking. So that is, by the way, you can tell people the real way you got hurt, by the way.
What's that?
Straining on your tippy toes to try to see the drones. Popped your hamstring right off the bone there.
Larry Hogan lives right next door, so I was able to see the drones over his house. Oh, wait, they're stars.
They are. Being told they are stars and very obvious planes. I didn't know Southwest Airlines is making drones, Denny.
Yep.
They're flying over my house every day. I live in the flight path. Hurts the value of your home. Denny, it hurts the value of your fantasy team is losing David Montgomery to a torn MCL in the second week of the fantasy playoffs. He might have gotten you eliminated with the injury last week. He might, though, get you to a championship if you have Jahmyr Gibbs and you survived last week because, the light has never been greener. Our former colleague, John Daigle, had the stat, Denny, where David Montgomery, since the Lions have drafted Jahmyr Gibbs, has missed part or all of 6 games. And in those games, Gibbs has averaged 21 carries for 128 yards.
Good grief.
He's never had fewer than 82 yards in that process, in that time span, whatever I was trying to say. He's been catching more passes lately. Jahmyr Gibbs is already a league winner, of course, but now is he like a league decider? Or are there going to be guys like Craig Reynolds, Sione Vaki involved? The Lions are in a weird spot because they're going to be probably in 3 shootouts to end the year, even with the 49ers, maybe even with the Bears, because the defense is just so bad. They're going to have to be scoring a lot. Is the fallout just as simple as it's Gibbs only, or does someone else actually get in the mix here?
I think you can go ahead and pick up Reynolds or the other guy.
Who would you say you prioritized, Denny, real quick? Because
neither of those guys got any action last week after Montgomery exited. So
they didn't. But that's the classic, mid-game injury. You don't have a game plan for that. They will have a game plan for this. I may or may not need to add someone. It's a long story.
I know. I'm going to add Reynolds. That would be my guess here is that they're going to go with a guy who has been with the team a while. Like he has seen snaps and carries when Montgomery has been out. I think last year. I would guess it's Reynolds, but really you're not going to be able to play him. But it's just in case Gibbs goes down next week, and then for fantasy championship week, maybe you have the Lions starting running back.
The only thing with that situation is Sione Vaki is a rookie. He was not around last year. He's a 4th round rookie. He has 6 carries this year. Craig Reynolds, I believe, has comfortably more than that. There's no way of knowing this.
No way.
I'm not typing quietly Craig Reynolds ESPN game log. Craig Reynolds does only have 12 carries this year. Yes, I'd say add Craig Reynolds. Don't bother with Vaki. And then if you rolled the dice wrong and it is Vaki, it's just like, who cares? It's not going to decide you.
No, it's not. It's not going to decide much. Did you type in Craig Reynolds box score real?
I did, of course. That's how I do all my searches. I always add real. You never know what's real. And if you type real now, the AI has to give you the real results, actually.
It will not give you the fake.
It will never give you a fake result. Man, not to pile on, the search results are getting worse and worse and worse.
We're so bad.
So bad, Denny. The Chiefs are getting worse and worse and worse. And you know what that means? They can't lose.
They can't.
They can't lose. You heard me predict on this show last week, you and Kyle, the haters, they were due for a mega nuke cover. And they're only 4.5 point favorites. They won by 14. Curious. They're so bad, and yet they mega nuke covered. It was like the first time they covered in like 2 months.
They're incapable of scoring more than 20 points, but yeah, sure, they make it.
I know. So they were looking worse than ever on offense last week, and that was before their one like invulnerable asset on their team, Patrick Mahomes, got injured. They're 13-1. They don't have the number 1 seed wrapped up. So I do sort of think that's a complicating factor with just assuming Patrick Mahomes is going to miss this game. He could come back. So they need to nail this thing down. But the fact that it's a short week, that they have another short week then on Christmas Day, does lead me to believe he's probably going to miss 1 game with the high ankle sprain. Then he's going to get all doped up for Christmas. And Santa Claus is delivering a Toradol shot. Patrick, sorry, is that too dark?
Wow.
That's too grim. Santa Claus has some cortisone for you there, Patrick. Operating under the assumption he's out against the Texans on Saturday, Do we trust any Chief beyond Travis Kelce? And it's not like we're excited about playing Travis Kelce. It's kind of like you almost have to. Or I mean, could it be like some vague Wentz season? Part of me is getting like the real galaxy braining. I just wonder if like another different look might like jolt the offense awake a little bit. Not that I think, of course, Carson Wentz is what do you think about Patrick Mahomes missing Saturday's game?
I mean, honestly, like, I guess you have to play Kelce.
You do. You really do.
Pacheco becomes even less appealing, even though with Mahomes, he's still terribly unappealing. So it's a three-way backfield right now between him, P. Ryan, and Kareem Hunt. So I think that you're looking for reasons not to play Pacheco. You're looking, I guess you plug in Kelce, but then again, like, I feel like you might be able to play someone over him if you have, another viable tight end on your bench. You can't play Hopkins.
I mean, okay, we're going to talk about sicko tight ends later. You're not actually considering like Brenton Strange or Stone Smartt over Travis Kelce, right?
I mean, from a strict like watch the dots on the screen, I would, those guys are probably in a better position to score fantasy points.
Sure, Brenton Strange has had a game better than Travis Kelce's had in 2 years, but that's actually not even true. But I mean, DeAndre Hopkins, second most yards the past 5 weeks on Sunday was 36. I'm assuming he's out.
Yeah.
Xavier Worthy, new career high, 6 catches, under 50 yards, though. I'm assuming he's out. Do we like matchups for any of these guys? Like, forget the quarterback situation. Is a tough Texans defense. Is there anything to like beyond like desperation Travis Kelce mode?
I mean, look, Hopkins is only running half the routes in this offense. That's not going to change. That's been very steady now for a month. So I don't think you can play him unless you're in, 14-team league and you're just trying to fill gaps in your lineup. I don't think that you can play Worthy in 12-team leagues either. Noah Gray's off the table. He is kind of
unless Denny, hear me out. 2-game DFS slate Saturday. Goes without saying Carson Wentz is the quarterback in cash, right? Does it actually? This is Carson Wentz in cash.
I mean, I will say this. Look, as far as that situation goes, there's a pretty good chance that Wentz outscores CJ Stroud.
Who should be more insulted by the Texans being 1.5-point favorites, the Chiefs or the Texans in this game?
Well, I mean, they did that because Mahomes is assumed to be out, right?
No, yeah, exactly. But still, like, I know they're 13-1, but they lose the best football player on planet Earth who is having a bad fantasy season, and you're still only one.
Yeah. I think if you're the Texans, I mean, maybe you should feel offended, but you should also take a look in the mirror and be like, man, we stink.
And know that they're going to lose too.
We should easily be 7-point favorites here, easily, with Mahomes out.
So to that point, which Texans are we trusting? Joe Mixon's banged up. His efficiency had been decreasing even before last week and the injury. With no one in the passing game, including CJ Stroud, is posting points other than Nico Collins. Is this just like Nico Collins? And then, take your medicine, Joe Mixon, RB2.
Yeah.
And then there's absolutely no one else, obviously.
I mean, I guess it depends on what Mixon's practice status looks like for the coming days.
He's the kind of guy, dude, like his arm could be like dang. Like he could clearly like be missing a shoulder and they would like still throw him out there. I think he is going to play. It's
a bad matchup. The Kansas City defense has the 6th highest stuff rate in the league, one of the lowest rates of rush yards before contact, 5th lowest rushing EPA on the season. Like, they really bottle up opposing rushing attacks. So it's a terrible spot for Mixon, but he's involved enough in the passing game, gets the goal line touches, so he should be able to salvage things. But this is a really ugly fantasy game overall. I think for fantasy champion or fantasy semifinal purposes, you're trying to fade guys in this game. Like, you're not jamming. Don't jam anyone.
Hold on, I'm getting an update here, and oh my God, the game's on NBC. So I'm Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz.
That's
I'm
right.
Firing them up.
I'm throwing in Mechie.
Bob Woods, I think, still plays.
Right. And, you got
Justin Watson. You got to get in there.
Justin Watson is easily a guy you got to jam. No.
So it's gonna be a low fantasy output game. It is a good game because both teams are in like feral mode. Like the Chiefs want to nail down this number 1 seed. The Texans want to make sure they don't bomb out of the playoffs. So it's on NBC. Make sure to check out the Madden cast also on Peacock.
I mean, yeah, look, if you know ball and if you like defense, it's going to be a good game.
But by the way, Denny does not know ball. He doesn't know Madden at all. Kyle Dvorak and I are going to tell you a little bit about Madden later this week. Denny's never.
I'm so sorry. I wanted to be part of that, but it would be.
How do you not know anything about Madden, man?
I mean, I played it 20 years ago.
You're not that old, by the way. You're not too old for you were part of the video game generation. Let's be clear.
I mean, but once I couldn't keep up with it, there was no point in pretending like I was keeping up. You either keep up with something like that or you don't.
I guess so. You either keep up with Monday Night Football or you don't. It was hard to keep up because there was 2 games at once and they were both so
Ugh, they were really
so bad. Although, I posted on various social media platforms, however dumb this Bears game was, whatever was going on with the Raiders was much deeper and darker. That also includes the Falcons. Denny, we'll get to that in just a second, though. Is Caleb Williams to the point where he's struggling enough that even Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze cannot be trusted? And the Lions, listen, it's a bad matchup for the Bears in that they have 0.0 chance to win this game. Well, that's not even true. It's not a great matchup for the Bears in terms of winning a game. It is a good matchup in that the Lions are injury destroyed on defense, just bleeding passing production. But as the Bears offense is too dysfunctional that we can't trust anyone outside of these really, really short DJ Moore, constant screens and checkdowns.
I think that Keenan Allen is more trustworthy than Odunze, although Odunze has worlds of upside because he's just eating air yards by the boatload and they are not filling his stomach because they have no calories. But eventually, sometimes those turn into real yards. I have some stats to kind of emphasize how bad Caleb has been of late. I mean, I think what I'm about to read you is not just concerning. It's like people should. I feel like Bears fans should be panicking, honestly. So just talking about downfield throws, okay?
Oh, yeah, he's never hit one of those, but yeah, it's fine. Not a big deal.
I mean, he missed 3 last night.
Doesn't matter. It's not important.
So Caleb Williams has completed 25% of his downfield throws. Downfield meaning 20 plus yards. Only Anthony Richardson and Deshaun Watson have been worse this year and just barely. Okay. And it gets worse. That's just the beginning. Okay. He's Caleb Williams, 39th out of 42 qualifying quarterbacks in completion rate over expected on throws between 10 and 19 yards. So we're talking about intermediate stuff. He's almost the worst as an intermediate passer. Short area, sure, he's fine. But that's it. No, he is fine on that. But everything else, 10 to 19 yards, he should be able to be in the middle of the league, I think, at least. And he's not completing any of those. Keenan Allen has seen nearly 60% of his targets within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. So I think he's kind of inoculated against these horrible struggles. But Rome Odunze has seen 60% of his targets outside of that range. So he's more susceptible to these just miserable downfield throws from Caleb Williams. He is seeing them, though, so that's important. And this Bears offense was kind of humming last time they played the Lions on Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, the old Turkey Day. That was, I think, the last time they looked good, though.
256 yards and 3 touchdowns for Caleb Williams in that game.
And it would have been more if they had remembered the clock existed.
Yeah, right. It could have been way more.
Forced overtime. That would have been nice. Would you say Keenan Allen's in the top 36?
I would.
Oh, okay.
I would. I like the Bears to have to drop back and throw a lot here. I think Keenan Allen probably sees double-digit targets, and even if he doesn't score a touchdown, for PPR purposes, I think he has a path to get there. Odunze is a wild card. You're looking at 2 points, maybe you're looking at 20 points. It depends on if Caleb Williams can throw one good downfield ball.
So the thing with Caleb Williams is, to regurgitate another post I had Monday night, is the way I've started to view his passing style. It's like when you watch, or it's not, this doesn't really happen in the NBA. It's like when you play pickup basketball with someone who just cannot stop dribbling outside the arc. Am I going to drive? Am I going to pull up? Nobody knows. And then you just do a dumb move and nothing happens, kind of.
try
like
a
that's starting to remind me of like Caleb Williams' play
Yeah.
style. And it's not surprising he's bad at the intermediate levels to me, because he's just like patting the ball. And it's like he's like letting the defense get set up.
Yeah, man.
It's like, you want to go cover a Rome, please?
Just throw the ball. Like,
throw the
like
ball.
that silliness where he's running around last night, avoiding tacklers. I mean, looking cool. I mean, it looks cool,
He
you
did
know.
look cool.
Like the awareness, I have to say, the on-field awareness off the charts for Caleb Williams. Like, he knows where everybody is. Well, I should say the defenders. He knows where the defenders are. He can juke. He can run. He's pretty fast. He's pretty quick. And then he does all that, and then he throws up basically a 50-50 ball to the other corner of the end zone to Odunze, and it falls. It was almost intercepted. I mean, that's junk. Like, you gotta stop. That has to stop. If that's his whole game, if that's like what he's going to be doing, his career is going to be disappointing.
He had a lot of not in the area code balls last night, and it was.
I just don't like Odunze is like running free down the sideline, and doesn't even try for the ball because it's 4 feet over his head.
Yeah, that was bleak.
I mean, that's a throw that you expect an NFL quarterback, not just like a star, like a number 1 overall pick. You expect an NFL quarterback to complete that ball, and it wasn't close. I mean, Troy Aikman seemed like genuinely stunned by.
Troy was getting concerned.
He sounded very concerned.
I love Troy, by the way. If you don't like Troy, you need to get on board. I know he doesn't work for NBC, whatever. Troy is so good. He used to like totally like the analytics nerds, like us, were never more triggered by anyone than they were Troy Aikman.
Oh yeah, no. He's made me cry multiple.
He's still got that going on, but I love how cranky he is. He's so even like his friend. He's apparently friends with Baker Mayfield, and he's just needling him. Like, Baker's not good.
So
not really.
I do feel he at one point he was like, "Look, get Kyle Shanahan to Chicago because this kid needs help."
What is going on with that, by the way?
I mean, well, look, the Niners thing is done. Their window's shut. Like, it's over for them. So
I mean, it might be. It's sad, but
yeah. I mean, they had a pretty good run, but it's over. And so you want to go to Coach Caleb Williams or whatever, but like Caleb, like he needs like help, like serious fundamental help.
Dude, Shanny would hate him though, like absolutely hate him. I feel like Shanny won't take the job because of Caleb, because Caleb will never, ever, ever, ever be a button pusher.
Right. I mean, the whole thing about being a Shanny quarterback is you do exactly as I say.
And he will not do that. I mean, rightfully so. Like, buzz off, Shanny. All right, man. I got this handled.
Again, it looks cool, man. It looks cool. But
I missed the Aikman thing, by the way. I've heard the Shanny rumors. I didn't know Aikman was fueling them on the air last night.
Talked about it last night for like a little while,
like a quarter.
He was like Shanahan good with quarterbacks. I mean, he was basically just like really, really hinting that like somebody needs to get this kid some help because this is a disaster.
It is. And so Caleb was struggling. All 4 quarterbacks struggled in Monday Night Football last night. That includes Sam Darnold. Not a good start for Sam. Sam Darnold had a lot of throws. Like, man, that guy was wide open. I would have simply just stuck that throw. I would have easily stuck that throw if I were in the NFL. And I thought it was Sam's most concerning, like eye test in a while, but it's a one-off. He had been playing really, really well for 2 months. Any concerns with Sam Darnold, or is it just a bad game that his team won by 18 points?
I think he's fine. I mean, when I see like the analytics say the Vikings have a 15% chance to win the Super Bowl, no, they don't. Like, no, they're not winning the Super Bowl.
I was like, please don't say you think it's higher.
No, they're not. Like, they're obviously
or may not have been another thing I posted on Monday night. I said this might have been a bit extreme. I said Sam Darnold exuding major quote will not win a playoff game.
Yeah, no, they're gonna. I mean, they might even get a bye at this point, but they're not going to win a playoff game. That's pretty clear. But Darnold, I mean, he's playing well on the season. Only Jalen Hurts, it has a better completion rate over expected. He's top 5 in success rate. I mean, like, it's good. It's good. Like, yeah, he has like really bad throws sometimes, but this offense, man, is just tailor-made for a decent quarterback to look really good. And, I'm glad Darnold is taking advantage. I mean, he's going to get well over $100 million out of this deal, out of this situation. I don't know if it's going to be in Minnesota or Tennessee, but if he leaves Minnesota, it's not. This is not going to transfer. I mean, to translate to the next team. I still think that there are some concerning issues there.
He's going to leave Minnesota. He's going to team up with Shanny in Chicago. Caleb Williams gets traded somewhere. Tennessee, Tennessee. And you heard it here first. That's what's going to happen.
What do you think about this thing? I keep seeing it crop up. Did the 49ers keep the wrong quarterback between Purdy and Darnold?
No, absolutely not. No, I mean, absolutely not.
I want to say yes, of course they did. But I feel like Purdy's probably better.
Purdy's probably better, and Purdy really, I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Purdy hater. He has not been the problem this year. Purdy has, I feel like, actually gotten better, and the kind of everything has collapsed around Purdy, because I feel like more like what has happened. And Purdy has earned my grudging respect. Like, gotta hand it to the young man. Like, he's pretty good. They did not keep I mean, it kind of didn't matter, I guess, like, because Darnold would have clearly been extremely good in San Francisco also.
I think he would have, yeah.
But Purdy cheaper, all that. His first stop too. It doesn't have like the baggage or whatever. But by the way, the Vikings, I mean, we've seen enough. Like, are Addison and Jefferson both get home on a weekly basis? It seems like that's kind of settling into an equilibrium. Like, defenses are actually like respecting both of them, or basically is Jordan Addison like weekly? He's a must start. I don't even know why I'm asking. He is a must start, right?
Yeah, I mean, last night 9 targets, caught 7 for 63. Justin Jefferson saw 13. They're basically like, it's Jefferson and Addison are just taking up like almost all the air yards in this offense. And so yeah, I mean, I think Addison is clearly, especially we'll talk about the Brown situation later, but like, you have some serious like shakeups in the receiver rankings. I think Addison is a must play. Yeah.
Serious shakeup, not serious. A shakeup in the receiver rankings, though, Denny, could be dropping Darnell Mooney out of the top 36 because is the Kirk Cousins thing, I mean, is it just so glaring now? I mean, 1 touchdown in 5 games. He completes 11 passes against the Raiders. They almost lose the game. He is putting nothing on these throws. As I told you on the phone earlier, it looks like he looks like a position player pitching to me.
Right.
Like when you picture like Anthony Rizzo on the mound, it's all like arm and shoulder. Like they don't know how to use their lower half when they're pitching. And that is what Kirk Cousins looks to me like. He looks like he's a pitcher who doesn't know. Like, no, you got to do like a leg kick and a wind up. He looks like he doesn't understand that.
I'm not going to pretend to be a footwork expert, but whatever Kirk Cousins doing doesn't look right.
No, it's gotten so lazy that it's like almost astonishing.
So he just he plants his lower body and then he just starts turning his upper body.
Yes, he only swivels his upper body. He doesn't move anything.
But when it's time to throw, he doesn't reset and throw. His feet are still in the same spot, right?
Yes. It's so weird.
And so there's nothing on it. Like it's almost like a remember like Chad Pennington at the end of his career?
Yes.
How he
probably the worst arm I've ever seen at the end.
I mean, unfathomable. Like
maybe Taysom Hill, but
really?
Taysom's arm is like truly atrocious.
Yeah, I guess maybe
it's like truly atrocious.
You mean the strength, the arm strength?
The arm strength.
Yeah,
his arm is jacked, but the arm strength.
Jalen Hurts also kind of reminds me of that. So Cousins has nothing on it. I have some bad stats for him too, real quick. 26 out of 31 qualifying quarterbacks in completion rate over expected over the past month, which is crazy because usually
we expect lower, to be honest, too.
I mean, but usually the thing you're getting with Kirk Cousins are a bunch of high percentage throws. Usually in this category, he's top 5 easily, right? So he's fallen all the way near the bottom. He's 12% under his expected completion rate on intermediate throws. Only Drake May has been worse on those throws between 10 and 19 yards over the past month. And get this, Kirk Cousins averaging less than 1 adjusted yard per attempt on intermediate passes over the past month. I mean, it's dire. This is a dire situation. He only had 21 dropbacks last night. And insane. Honestly, why would the Falcons want this guy to drop back any more than the bare minimum?
They don't. And so Bijan Robinson, by the way, 3 of his 4 highest career carry counts have come in the past 3 weeks. So he's getting quite literally the biggest workloads of his entire career. The real bad sign for Kirk, too, is Raheem Morris had been like the last holdout, like the last readout of like Kirk Cope. Everyone online, like Kirk, like obviously bench him. Like that's they just Denny for some reason posts that. It's not in his voice at all. Denny Carter just posted to obviously bench Kirk. I'm like, wow, all right. That's why everyone is saying this except for Raheem Morris. Then even Raheem last night, he took a diplomatic tone, but he's like, yes, our quarterback needs to be better.
Yeah. I mean, if they really want to like make the playoffs, they would bench him. They would bench Cousins, but I think that the feelings and the investment are so strong, they probably won't.
Unless if he comes out and does the same thing against the Giants, like if it's close with the Giants, like a game that obviously they cannot lose. If it kind of goes the same way the Raiders game did, I think we could see Penix in the second.
Possibly. And actually, producer Adam reminds us that Kirk Cousins makes his not so triumphant return to Washington in Week 17. The Falcons Commanders game was flexed to Sunday Night Football. That would be good, except for Cousins is playing so poorly, it might not be fun.
It'll be Penix time on NBC.
But we'll watch it anyway because it's on NBC Sports.
Penix on the Peacock is what it's going to be on NBC Sunday Night Football, Denny.
I mean, that would actually be exciting.
It would be. Hey, the whole game will be exciting.
I mean, it'll be regardless.
Genuinely, yeah, it genuinely will be because, I mean, not everyone watches sports the same way I do. Like, watching a Kirk Cousins implosion is, like, fun to me. Like, I hate to be such a hater, but like, yeah, this is amazing. This is hilarious. I get to post about this now for 60 minutes.
And the Commanders will run up the score here.
They will, except for they're also frauds. So
wow.
I just simply love to barely beat the Saints.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, the Commanders have entered
it's Quinn season is what it is.
Yeah, they've entered the pantheon of teams that were supposed to be bad who accidentally got good and now they don't know how to operate, No,
1000%. They start to clam up. It's exactly, I've made this analogy before, I think. It's the classic first round of the NCAA tournament. Like Stephen F. Austin has been winning by 15 points the entire game. They're still winning by 11 with 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
And then they just never make another shot and turn it over every time they touch the ball.
Yeah, someone airballs a free throw.
Yes, exactly. And that does seem like it's kind of happening with the Commanders. We talk about Darnell Mooney outside the top 36, I think, this week.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's just the volume is gone here.
It's gone. And so is Jakobi Meyers, same deal with Desmond Ridder. Although it could be Aiden O'Connell back this week. Just basically touch base quickly on the Raiders passing game, quote.
Yeah.
There's not much of a passing game.
So Jakobi Meyers, 11 targets Monday night against the Falcons. He was targeted on 26% of his routes. Most of his 5 receptions came in garbage time. I think he entered the fourth quarter with 1 catch. He led the team with 112 air yards against Atlanta. No one else had more than 70. That was Brock Bowers. So that's a pretty good profile. But the fact that almost all of it came in garbage time makes me a little nervous to say, set it and forget it with Jakobi Meyers.
I guess it will be set and forget it if it's Aiden O'Connell. And
yeah, oh yes.
This situation's dire. I mean, they kept up the ruse that he might play until like the last second. Man, it's the Jaguars too. The spread is currently off the board because they don't know who's going to be a quarterback. I haven't seen that in a while. This says off. It's off the board.
One thing, if Desmond Ritter's listening, on a Hail Mary, what you want to do is you want to throw it high. And
listen, he almost converted it though.
And not throw a dart.
It was a dart that the Falcons almost gave to Jakobi Meyers though. Actually, the Falcons wanted. Honestly, almost one of the Falcons DB was like, dude, I'm not doing this. We got to end this season and give this ball to Jakobi, man. I'm not doing this anymore.
Well, it was an ugly Hail Mary attempt, I think.
It was an ugly Hail Mary. Ugly Raiders back, but we're on top of it. I'm just going to skip that. We'll be right back after this. Ring in the holiday season with a double dip of NFL football on NBC and Peacock this weekend. It all kicks off this Saturday at noon Eastern as we lead you up to kickoff between the Texans and Chiefs. Then on Sunday evening, Baker Mayfield and the Bucs travel to Dallas for a date with the Cowboys. Man, getting the Cowboys in December. Everyone's at home watching TV. The NBC will be printing money on that one. Thank you, folks, for watching your Dallas Cowboys. By the way, the Cowboys, man, it's running backs don't matter until they do. And I just wonder, this is such an intrusive thought. I wonder if the Cowboys season would have been different if they had committed to Rico Dowdle from the jump.
I don't know. Maybe a little bit different, but I don't think like drastically.
I bet they'd have one more victory. I think they would have one more victory, which is
well, because they were forcing the issue. They were giving Zeke a bunch of touches. They were giving who's that small guy? Vaughn.
Deuce Vaughn.
They started him in a game.
He's finally been cut from my dynasty team, by the way.
Like what is that? Like Rico Dowdle was there the whole time. I was wrong on this backfield, but I mean, Dowdle clearly is a viable starting running back.
I don't know what was going on there because it's like night and day between him and the other guys, and that was a really, really weird dead ending. So that's Saturday on NBC and Sunday night. Thursday on Bezos Vision, it is the Broncos at the Chargers. 42.5 game total. Chargers favored by 3. I don't know. Chargers are a classic team going in the wrong direction to me, Denny. They're so banged up. The Broncos might have been going in the wrong direction if Jonathan Taylor had not committed the most egregious mistake in the recent history of the NFL. They almost lost that game. Well, they wanted to lose that game for a while to the Colts because Bo Nix was playing really, really, really aggressive, hellaciously bad football against the Colts. But the Colts have a shutdown pass defense, Denny. Am I correct? Did you tell me both Bo Nix and Courtland Sutton are in the regression files?
They are, yeah.
Why is that, Denny?
Yeah, for different reasons. One is Bo Nix is exceptionally hot in the touchdown category right now, over a 7% touchdown rate in the past 4 games. That's likely to come down at some point, maybe this week in a not so great matchup. And then Courtland Sutton's on the other end where, I know he caught a touchdown last week, saved his fantasy day.
His bacon. His bacon.
Right. He saved all of his bacon. It's true. But overall, like his profile is a lot better than what we've seen. And it has something to do with the fact that Bo Nix is not the greatest passer in the world. But I just wanted to
I was told that he was by you.
Well, it turns out he's very inaccurate. He needed more time in college, I think is what we're saying.
If he had gotten 2 more years in college,
2 to 3, and he would have been fine. But so Sutton still needs to be started. I think folks might want to pump the brakes on starting Nix in 12-team leagues.
It's tough. It's a tough situation. The board is so bad.
Really?
It's so bad. I got to do the game. I got to pull it up. I mean, I agree. The Broncos pass offense was like running too hot. It was running too hot.
It was.
Really, could not keep up. Actually, I have Bo Nix very initially as the QB 15. So I actually do agree with you, it appears.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking like, obviously, like you're starting Jordan Love over him.
I would not say that, to be honest.
You have Love outside the top 15?
I do. I mean, I know it's a dream matchup, but you and I know what's happening in this game. The Packers are attempting a maximum of 25 passes.
Yeah, sure.
And like Lamar Jackson has had 5 touchdowns and 25 passes, but it just doesn't seem like the Packers are that kind of offense right now. And I'm just not loving Jordan Love because he's gone 5 straight weeks without reaching 30 attempts. Like that's honestly insane. Like that's like totally insane.
The
volume is just not there.
Very run heavy. Would you start Anthony Richardson over Nix?
I have him 1 spot behind Nix right now, and I'm kind of feeling like maybe I should flip that.
I would start Richardson.
He's so bad. Oh man.
I know, but I mean, fantasy wise, like he has the rushing. Nix is not running anymore. That's the thing. Last time he played the Chargers, he had 61 rushing yards on 8 rushes, but that doesn't happen anymore for Nix. So you're relying on the passing. The Chargers are a pretty good pass defense Thursday night. I think that you could probably do better in 12-team leagues.
Bo Nix, final one. Bo Nix or Aaron Rodgers?
Rodgers.
I know. Rodgers, I thought it might be a 1-game last hurrah. It looks like he might make it a month-long last hurrah Rodgers. We'll see. What
Oh
happens.
man, how correct were we about Rodgers having his Super Bowl with Devontae Adams?
Yes.
And
No,
Devontae Adams had 0
I know.
catches at halftime.
I know.
And they were like, no, man, they became Shaq and Kobe.
They
in
did.
the second half.
They were Shaq Kobeing so hard.
So
in the
hard.
second half. It was outrageous. It was kind of fun to watch. Oh yeah, by the way, Justin Herbert to the bench, by the way, in fantasy.
Oh God, I thought you were saying like some
Yeah.
sort of news. I was
No,
like,
they benched
what?
him. Yeah, they benched him. There's some crazy Harbaugh guy they want to play instead. No, he's banged up. The entire Chargers skill core is banged, including even Quentin Johnston's now banged. He's gonna play, I think, but like I have Justin Herbert QB 18 right now. How does that sound to you?
That sounds right. I mean, I see him strictly as a super flex option this week.
He is. They're just too banged up. It's a weird matchup. The Broncos have a good pass defense. They've actually been hemorrhaging fantasy points lately, though, for some reason. Matt Surtain is banged up. He's going to play.
Yeah. You have this situation, though, with the Chargers where they're missing J.K. Dobbins. They have
no running game. Literally,
right, they have now the worst backfield in the NFL by far. And so there's no threat of the run at all. And Herbert can't. I don't think Herbert can operate like that. And I think that, I mean, maybe he could if he had like a really good receiver. He doesn't. He has.
This is what they were trying to save him from.
Yeah. And so Greg Roman is coordinating this pass first, pass only offense. It's a really bad mix.
The resources will never be more invested in running back than they've ever been.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that yes, absolutely. Producer Adam says start Herbert against the Broncos or Caleb Williams against Detroit. I actually would lean. Oh God, that sounds disgusting, but I would lean Caleb.
I know. I had Herbert as QB 18, Caleb as QB 20. This was just an initial pass through, and I think I might drop Herbert behind May and Caleb Williams down to QB 20. And
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, Caleb, man, last night had like the heaviest ever, like never playing Caleb Williams again in fantasy, except for maybe this week. Like just because I don't know what to expect from this Lions.
It's a good spot.
It's a good spot. I also feel like we could see a circle the wagons demolishing from the Lions.
Really?
Yeah, everyone's counting them out.
Dude, I feel like they are just grasping right now at anything they can find. I mean, the fact that they can't do that thing where Jared Goff has perfect game script throughout, and I know he threw for 400 plus yards, 20 touchdowns last week.
Sure, 30th most yards in NFL history, but
that's not how they want to play, and I think that they're going to be forced to do that with all these defensive injuries.
I mean, it's like biblical. Jay Croucher used the word farcical. It is farcical, the amount of injuries they've had.
I mean, you look at their 83% drop back rate last week against the Bills. I mean, that's 30% over their yearly number, over their annual. So they 53% average, 83% last week. They're not going to do that this week, but I could see them getting to 70 or something like that.
Final pseudo word on this game, kind of on this game, kind of not on this game. Stone Smartt is the sicko tight end option that has captured the nation's heart, Denny. There were so many posts about like very long missives on Stone Smartt heading into last weekend, and he did catch 5 balls. And you pointed out to me, it was the week of Britton Strange. It was the week, truly the mainstream media or even the niche fantasy football media refuses to talk about Chig Okonkwo.
I know.
Catching 7 or 8 passes. And you wanted to give a word on sicko tight ends. And just maybe, I didn't really set you up that well, but tell us about the state of the sicko tight end right now.
Yeah, so Chig Okonkwo has seen more targets at a higher rate of targets, I should say, when Mason Rudolph is starting, right? So if Rudolph gets the nod this week, that makes Okonkwo interesting. If Levis does, then forget about it. Chig Okonkwo was targeted on over 40% of his routes last week. A lot of it is in garbage time. You're not going to get 10 targets out of Chig Okonkwo going forward, but I think it is an interesting situation to monitor with whoever plays quarterback for the Titans this week. And then as for Strange, yeah, I mean, look, I mean, 5 targets, like we were hoping for a little more. But top 10 in air yards among
not strange. You mean Stone Smartt? Sorry.
I meant Stone Smartt.
Yeah, Stone Smartt.
Top 10 in air yards among tight ends. 19% target share. That's fine. I mean, that's a decent amount. And then Brenton Strange, 28% target share.
I was going to say, you didn't mean Brenton Strange since he set the single game record for tight end targets. No, that's a joke, but it was 12.
12, and he caught 11 of them, and they're all easy button, like low A dot type things. Like that's beautiful for fantasy. Like you can live with that.
They absolutely love Brenton Strange. Did they extend Evan Ingram? Am I imagining this?
I'm not sure.
Man, the Jags do not.
No way to find out, unfortunately.
Run their team well. They did. Oh yeah, they did extend him. He signed for. Oh my God. No guaranteed money. Actually, okay, never mind. He's gonna get cut. He's due $14.75 million next year, but 0 of that is guaranteed. Man, 19 million cap number. AKA will be getting cut. Evan Ingram. So
like the second the offseason starts.
Yeah, yes, Brenton Strange. A pretty interesting Brenton Strange, kind of an under the radar real life second round pick. We love that real life draft capital, and yeah, producing when given the chance is a great sign. So Brenton Strange, sicko tight end to watch both this weekend and going forward. A Rotoworld Football Show podcast to watch right after this. Catch the back-to-back national champions this Saturday when 11th ranked UConn travels to Indianapolis for a date with Butler. The Big East battle tips off at noon Eastern on Peacock. Danny Hurley has spent the year so angry. But he got a real big victory the other day. He'll probably be in a good mood on Peacock on Saturday.
I'll take your word for it.
Do you know about Danny Hurley by any chance?
I mean, I know of his past life.
Do you know about UConn, Denny?
I know.
I just said it. What's the big UConn fact? I just said it in the promo. This is not a joke. If you were going to say one fact about UConn basketball, what would it be?
They're the Huskies.
That they're the twice defending national champions of college basketball.
I'll take your word for it.
And
sure.
Danny Hurley has been a throwback in that he never, ever, ever stops going nuts the entire game.
Really? Oh, sweating profusely, I'm sure.
Screaming, sweating, stalking around, like never, ever, ever stops going nuts.
He
almost got kicked out of Hawaii. They were in the Maui Invitational, and he's was just going nuts the entire time. Everyone's like, chill, man. Like,
for the Maui Invitational?
Yes, he went because they went 0-3, and he went he went like bedlam mode.
Really?
Basically the Maui police are like, we haven't arrested anyone in 2 years. We might have to arrest Danny Hurley. So watch Danny on Peacock against Butler on Saturday. Watch Jerome Ford. Am I right?
Sure.
Yeah, so big changes for the Browns. Jerome Ford at running back with Nick Chubb, unfortunately, out for the season. We're hoping, at least I'm hoping for fantasy purposes, we get one more game of Jameis. My Jameis cope has been Nick Chubb was so inefficient. Is there news? Has he been?
There is news. DTR is starting.
Oh my God. I'm ruined. I'm ruined. Yeah, I'm ruined.
Me too. No, it's completely over for me.
It's over. Yep, it's over.
Yeah, the Judy train is derailed. The Njoku thing is over.
That's the big problem for me.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna start. I was all set to start Jameis Winston over Jaden Daniels this week in the Apex Writers League, and now I cannot.
Man, wow, what a blow!
Yeah, really, it is quite devastating. I mean, Judy goes from wide receiver 1 to maybe you can play him.
No, he's top 36, but he's very volatile wide receiver 3 now. I just don't really quite understand this because everyone, Jameis Winston's not their future. DTR is also very much not the Cleveland Browns' future.
Yeah,
and I do think it's bad. You need to evaluate. This is what people always miss about benching quarterback. Like with the Titans, be like, well, they just start Will Levis the final 3 games. So you're not just evaluating Will Levis. You're evaluating like 11 to 15 players on offense. And so it's not just ever about that was kind of the straw I was clinging to with Jameis. because the DTR makes the offense almost non-functional.
Exactly. You don't know what you're looking at when you have a quarterback as bad as DTR under center. Jameis Winston at least can operate an NFL offense.
He could operate a super flex spot too, and I'm so ruined. It's fine. It's all right. I didn't deserve to win anyway. Which is, I mean, it's not ethical, but you know, I was doing it though. So that's
if you were depending on Jameis Winston this week, then just pack it in, man, because it's over.
It's over. Is it over for Jerome Ford, who's replacing Nick Chubb?
I mean,
he has over 100 more yards rushing than Nick Chubb on 15 fewer carries, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's been better than Nick Chubb like for a long time now. Nick Chubb is not himself, but with this news, this is bad. This goes from like, yes, absolutely, Jerome Ford is a must start to like, I guess throw him in your flex if you're desperate. I don't know.
You said it perfectly. He's a throw him in your flex if you're desperate. Yep. Deontay Foreman will be involved. They do not like Deontay Foreman. He evidently was just not a fit for this offense, but he will not be a healthy scratch this week like he has been recently. He'll mix in for some touches. So there's a lot of variables now for Jerome Ford. Throw him in your flex.
Also, Pierre Strong will probably get him mixed into the backfield.
Oh, man, I forgot about that guy.
Yeah, it's not the thing with Ford. Like, it looked like a slam dunk. Now, with the possibility of those two guys getting involved, with ETR starting, I mean, what is the plan? What is the plan? You know what it is? Here's what it is. Stefanski's just mad. He's just mad.
That's solely what it is.
Like he's upset that Jameis threw 3 of the worst interceptions you'll ever see in your life. And he's stomping his feet. Well, then you can't start this week. We're going to start the worst quarterback in the NFL instead.
You know what Mike Hope has been too? Chubb was so inefficient. I was making this point on the Fantasy Football Happy Hour, Dan. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I have.
I was making this point on the show this morning that it was always 2nd and 8, 3rd and 7. And when you have a turnover machine like Jameis, you cannot keep putting him in the most predictable passing situations of all time. And like he's constantly, so of course he's always throwing, right. But he was throwing in like so many bads. Like you do not want Jameis Winston rearing back to throw on 3rd and 9.
No.
Like there's a 42% chance it will be an interception. And I wanted to see him with a more efficient, more just a functional running game.
Man,
and it's been
you know what? Honestly, when Njoku was ruled out, when he was inactive for Week 15 against Kansas City, I had a sense of dread, and I thought, oh my gosh, the whole Jameis thing's over. Like he can't survive without Njoku. Like Njoku was such an important part of that whole thing, because when things got tight, like you're talking about 3rd and 5, 3rd and 8, right? When things got tight, the ball was going to Njoku in the short areas, and he's so good that he converts. They keep going. He eventually hits a splash play, whatever. But without Njoku, the whole thing falls apart, and that's what we saw.
That is what we saw. Denny, without George Pickens, the Steelers' passing game has kind of fallen apart.
Oh, man.
I do think maybe Pickens was held out intentionally in Week 15 with an eye towards playing in this must-win game against the Ravens on Saturday. But so it's the Ravens are an amazing streaming spot unless you're one of the absolute worst quarterbacks in the league, like the New York Giants put out there. If George Pickens plays, are we streaming Russell Wilson in this game on Saturday?
If he plays, I guess yes. Without the threat of the ball of the moon ball going, over the head of the two safeties, this Steelers offense has nothing. Like
they do have almost literally nothing.
At that same Christmas party that I was referencing earlier, I had a conversation with a Steelers fan, and I said, "Look, if you guys don't have Pickens, you guys don't have anything, and you're going to lose badly to the Eagles." And I feel like I was correct. The 2.5 seltzers we're talking, but Pickens. I mean, Pickens is the whole offense here. They don't have their backfield stinks. They have no other pass catchers. Russell Wilson can't do it by himself. With Pickens out the past 2 weeks, only the Bears, Raiders, and Broncos have a lower EPA per play than the Steelers. It's bad.
Yeah, it's really bad. So yeah, Russ not a streaming option. mean, we're not even going wild with Russ as a streaming option if Pickens plays.
No.
But it is at least on the menu because the Ravens they give up so much passing. Unless you're literally Tim Boyle, you will be able to pass on the Ravens. And
well, I mean,
right?
Tim Boyle did fine. I don't know.
I knew. I was worried that's where you were going.
Yeah, no. Tim Boyle showed that even Tim Boyle can do it against the Ravens.
Right. So yeah, Pickens. I don't know. If Pickens plays, then maybe we can stream.
Yeah, yeah. I think that it does depend on Pickens' status. Yeah.
Final topic for the day: Geno Smith. He's like the definition of day to day. He'll probably play, considering how high the stakes are. It was a little strange he didn't play Sunday night, but they just didn't know what was going on with the knee. And the further testing, they'll be able to get a shot or whatever, wear a brace. But the Seahawks passing game it's just dead now, kind of.
Dead.
Yeah, it's over. Never been more over.
I have a fun stat. Sam Howell, 33% below his expected completion rate.
That scans that the eye test can confirm
against the Packers. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, someone online, replied to that and was like, well, I don't know about all that, but I know the eye test definitely checks out there.
Yeah, it scans.
I mean, my man looked like he had no intention of getting into the game on Sunday.
No, I know. No, another Patrick Daugherty anecdote was cross-country state finals, state championship. 7 runners get to go. I was our 8th runner as a junior, and a kid got sick, or he faked. He was faking, to be honest. He got nervous and had to fake. And I had zero intention of running that day because I'm like, no one's gonna back out of this match. And I had already eaten 2 Krispy Kreme donuts, and I did run, and then I posted a personal best actually. So
there you go.
I did better than Sam Howell.
You didn't pull a Howell.
No.
Yeah, but I mean, even if Geno plays, you can play JSN. I don't think you probably have to play Metcalf in 12-team leagues, but you're not excited about it. I'm gonna play Keenan Allen over Metcalf in one league, just so folks know.
Oh man, yeah, Metcalf it's grim. It is getting really, really. Man, were we wrong or were we right? Honestly, I don't know.
I don't know if we were wrong or right. I don't know if Geno's bad. I don't know if.
I knew Geno was bad.
I know you've been a hater, but I don't know if the offense is bad. I don't know if Metcalf is bad. I don't know. I think
bad.
Right.
Is Grubb bad? That's what the confounding variable to me is Grubb.
All I know is that the bank examiner is banging on my door at 4 a.m. every morning, and I'm desperate. Please just let me get some sleep.
Yeah, the DK Metcalf check has not cleared.
No, it did not. I've tried many times. It's still not clearing.
Please clear. The show is cleared. It's over. We're through our topics. We're going to have a lot more to talk about on Thursday with Kyle Dvorak when we break down the entire Week 16 slate. That includes the 2 Saturday games. Lot to talk about. Lots of injury news. Keep it locked to Rotoworld.com for the fantasy semifinals. Check out Denny's regression files. Check out the funnel report on Friday. Check out my rankings on Thursday. So for Denny, I am Pat. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back with you in 2 days.